Hey, everybody. Yes. Welcome back to the Paid Search Podcast. My name is Jason Rothman. As always, I'm joined by the great Chris Schaefer. Chris, I'm sorry about last week. I was a little under the weather. How are you doing today? I'm glad to be back with you. I missed you a lot.
I know you weren't feeling good. Jason, I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're feeling better. You look great, look
Thank you.
strong, look ready
Thank
to
you.
go. I almost called you Thursday afternoon, because I didn't have my weekly dose of Jason, but I knew you were, Mr. Sniffles, so I didn't want to bother you, but yeah, glad to have you here again. It's this podcast is not just for the millions of listeners, Jason. Sometimes it's just because I need a reason to monetize my time with you so that I can justify doing it.
Well, I think we made up for last week when we talked for 40 minutes before the show. So there you go. Chris, a few weeks ago, you had the man flu. I had never had the man flu before.
Yep.
And I got the man flu.
It's pretty bad.
You have my nose was all stopped up. I couldn't breathe through it. I had like a head cold.
Mm-hmm.
And during the cold, it was like the worst thing ever. Like I was so worried. I was like, this is so horrible. I still feel so horrible. And then afterwards, it was like, wow, that was just a little cold.
Yeah.
Like it had been so long since I had a cold. And that's what you told me the man flu is, where
It is.
you can't take a little cold like a little baby. So
yeah, there's papers out there. Scientifically, it's worse than, anything women go through, I believe. It's pretty bad. So,
Chris, well, I missed you for 2 weeks, but I didn't miss certain aspects of you. And one of them is the way you change things up. Where the hell are you looking right now, Chris? I see you. You're looking over to the side. What's up? Put me in the middle of the screen.
Here, I'll put you in the middle.
Like normal, like we've been doing for 304 episodes. God.
How did you notice that? That's
because
funny
you keep looking to the side.
I have it. I wanted to swap it.
Chris, I'm a great podcaster. I'm a great communicator. I'm a great talker, but I cannot be thrown off my game. And like a little deviant, you were trying to throw me off of my game.
Well, if truth be known, I had myself in the center so I could just make sure I look good all the time. And then I had you like over to the side.
Yeah.
So that I can,
looking good is hard work. You make that clear before the show, where when I take our thumbnail images, it's like a 15-minute process with you changing lighting and backgrounds and poses and all that. Yeah.
I ruin every,
you're about as vain as you look, which means you're a good looking guy, but it does take work and focus. God, it's good to be back with you, Chris. So today we're going to be talking about performance max campaigns. Been hearing a lot about this. Been hearing a lot about this in the PSP Facebook group on Facebook, which all of you are invited to, if you can find it. And
good luck.
It's not in the metaverse yet, but
we're not going to link to it.
Chris, have you been hearing a lot, like a bunch of your friends, like just running up to you, telling you about the VR goggles they bought and how cool it is to spend hours of their day in virtual reality world? Has that been happening to you?
I have not.
Oh, neither have I. No, and I was wondering because people were excited about this thing, and how's that stock doing?
Yeah,
still down a lot.
I have seen some videos of grandmas running into a wall, and stuff like that, which those are entertaining.
Yeah, well, a lot of people are talking about the metaverse. A lot of people are talking about performance max, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people there, and the reason I bring up our Facebook group on Facebook, the one on Facebook, is because every other post is, well, guys, this is going on, the performance. Guys, this is going on. And yeah, I got to get caught up to speed because I'm an old school guy. I'm still punching in my keywords, punching in my bids.
Old school.
Looking at the data. I'm a little bit old school.
You probably still use a keyboard, Jason. I
just bought a new keyboard the other week because my old keyboard had got messed up.
I mean, I use my VR headset to input all of my virtual keywords. I don't know where you're at, Jason.
That would be cool if you could go VR inside of your Google Ads account. The small amount of work that it takes to be a Google Ads manager, the small amount of manual labor that takes moving your keys and sitting up straight, that goes out the window, and it's pure just wake up in your bed, put on your goggles, lay on your back, and then inside of the metaverse, change your bids by pulling numbers down and
change your bids,
writing keywords with your fingers.
You have like a little trigger on your finger, like up, down, up, down. Yeah, I could see it. Yeah. Sounds great.
Sounds awesome. So,
well, Jason,
Chris, I'm gonna get caught up today. Yeah, you have more experience in Performance Max than I do. I'm hearing a lot about it, and I want to know if it's something that you think I should try, and the pros and cons, and how to set it up, and all that. So we'll be talking about all of that today. And again, Chris, I'm just so glad you made it. You're here. I'm here. We're here together.
Yeah.
Your razor didn't make it. That beard is getting out of hand.
It is. Yeah, my wife.
That beard could hurt somebody if you brush faces with them.
Yeah, I mean, 5 minutes of rubbing on this, and you're definitely going to get like a little bit of a rash. I mean,
you've got every single hue under the word gray in your beard. Light gray, dark gray.
My neck is a lot more gray than the side of my face, which I'm discovering all kinds of things about my hair that I didn't know. But you guys aren't here for body hair discussion. You're here.
Some of the audience is. I've seen their comments
for you guys,
that they write in. Yeah, a few of them are. A few of them truly are here just to look at Chris.
But if you are here for Google Ads discussion, you're in the right place. Let me tell you something about our sponsor, Opteo. Opteo is the tool to get things done in Google Ads, get them done faster. And I want to tell you about a new feature that they have recently launched that I think is well overdue. It's something that many people need. Maybe it's the one thing that's going to finally get you to try out this tool, because they can help you manage shopping ads. And particularly, they can help you optimize your product inventory to make sure that you can divide it into the proper segmentation that you need, that you can adjust item bids based on profitability, keep your product group synchronized with Google Merchant Center. I mean, it's all the wonderful things that you get with a Google Ads search campaign, but now they can do it with shopping. It takes the stress and the difficulty out of it by adding things like product group bids and subdividing the groups and all this amazing stuff. And guys, Opteo doesn't quit. They are extremely versatile in the way that they change their system to flow with what's happening in Google Ads. They know their industry, they know their customers, and they don't have the kind of push button, boring kind of stuff. They help you get more done and get it done faster in Google Ads. Personally, it has helped me do that. It can help you do that. It helps me every day. Try it for free at opteo.com/PSP. You can get an 8-week free trial at opteo.com/PSP.
Okay, Chris, so let's talk about what Performance Max campaigns are. I'm just going to read from the Google support about Performance Max campaigns, and then I'd love to hear from you, like just peer-to-peer, what are they? But this is what the official language is. Performance Max is a new goal-based campaign that allows performance advertisers to access all of the Google Ads inventory from a single campaign. It's designed to complement your keyword-based search campaigns to help you find more converting customers across all of Google's channels like YouTube Display, Search, Discover, Gmail, and Maps. So, Chris, the way I'm interpreting that is that you run it alongside your traditional search campaigns. And what it allows you to do is it allows you to show up everywhere inside of the Google ecosystem, like YouTube and Display and Gmail and Maps and Search and Discover. And they will show your traffic. The goal is to show your traffic to people wherever they are across the Google universe who are likely to convert for the goal that you're optimizing that Performance Max campaign for. And again, the biggest thing that stood out to me was that they want you to run it alongside your search campaign. My interpretation, is that accurate?
I know. I agree. In the language that they kind of lay out everything about what it is, and I think they're quite honest about what it is and what it's not, because they say right up front that it's designed to complement your keyword-based search campaign. right? And I mean, one thing they're immediately saying up front is that this is not the beginning and end of your Google Ads account. You know, they're not saying that this is the one thing that you need. What they do say is that it's the next generation of smart shopping and local campaigns, right? It's the next upgrade from that. And the way they've always pitched these smart shopping and local campaigns is that they're a push button solution, you know? And I think what we're looking at now with the smart campaigns that's so different than, you know, what we've had before, or makes it different from, you know, standard search or display or YouTube campaigns, is that it's entirely a goal-based campaign.
Right.
I think that's really, you know, if I were to draw a distinction, we're going to go through all kinds of distinctions and different things about, you know, what it looks like and what it's not and what it is, what we like, what we don't like. But if I were to draw a distinction, I think that's probably the most defined line. Tell me if you agree. In a Google Ads account, you can set up a search campaign with no goals and just let the thing run with no accountability or any type of, you know, goals. You can just get crap traffic and pay for it, and the system's not going to really tell you that you're doing a bad job. You know, it's not going to give you any warnings. What I feel that the Performance Max and, you know, formerly the smart and local campaigns, I feel like it helps people to at least have some accountability because it's a goal-based system. You can put in phone calls, online sales, store visits, website conversions. It takes all the things that we're used to and bases that on how the account acquires, you know, that traffic.
Right. So it's funny you mentioned that. You mentioned smart and local campaigns, because my first impression when I saw the news coming out about Performance Max was that, wait, don't we already have this? Like, isn't there a smart campaign you can just tell the system what your business is and then they'll advertise you across Google's platforms? And I'm kind of realizing what the difference is now is that the difference is that you punch in your conversion goal, and Performance Max, the evolution of this kind of smart campaign versus the previous ones, is that it's focused on trying to get you that conversion and measuring its own performance against that. Is that what the difference is?
Yeah. It's, I mean, and that's what I really like. The second thing that it builds itself on is being across all of the networks, you know, from YouTube, display, search, discover, Gmail, and Maps. I mean, you said in your read there from the Google support doc, no more do you need to create different campaigns for different areas. If you want a simple push button solution, goal-based kind of thing, I mean, that's what this is. We'll discuss a little bit later what we like and what we dislike about that, but, you know, just to be, you know, plain upfront about it, I mean, that's what it is.
And in terms of, you know, what you do from here and how automated it is, I see a section on this help doc that says Google Ads automation uses machine learning to grow your business. Is it really for people that really just want to put something in and then leave it alone and let the system do almost everything or everything going forward? Is it like as automated as it gets?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there is, I mean, to put it in perspective for those that listen to us because they want to avoid just doing everything on full auto. I mean, this is not Jason's default, and this is not my default. This is not what we go to when we're building, you know, a new account for a new client or, you know, whatever, or we're trying to expand a new product, you know, and get more traffic. This is not our go-to. It absolutely is a set it up, and there's very minimal management. And we'll go into deeper about, you know, what that means and what that looks like, you know, in the details here.
And one more thing about just what it is, Chris. What do you make of this designed to complement your keyword-based search campaigns? Because I had not seen that kind of accommodative or collaborative language before when it comes to automated campaigns. That is something that attracted me because I'm like, you know what? If this really is the case where I can do what I do with search in my old school way that I find to be very effective, but then kind of cover all bases and go, yeah, I do want to show up on Gmail. I do want to show up on display and YouTube when it makes sense. Let me throw something, a little budget to Performance Max alongside my search and see if I start seeing conversions in that conversion column. Do you like that they're saying it should complement your search campaign? Have you found it to be something that you can run the same time as a search campaign?
Oh,
or is there any cannibalism there, or am I jumping ahead too much?
No. I mean, I don't have any plans to specifically discuss that. So I mean, that's a very good point. And the reason I don't really plan to discuss it is because how do you prove that there's cannibalism? How do you prove that there's overlap when you don't have the metrics or the numbers to prove it?
So before the show, when we were talking, one of the things you had kind of mentioned was that you don't have as much data. Yeah. And so we'll get into that. And I get what you're saying. Like, if your search campaign is showing an impression share of like 78%, would that be an impression share of 85% or 90% without the Performance Max? Maybe you're not able to figure that out because you don't have that data from Performance Max. So let's get into what you like about Performance Max, Chris. So when someone asks you, we're a few months into Performance Max now, what do you like about it, the great Chris Schaefer? And I'm asking you, this is something I haven't run before. Should I start running it? What are some pros here? What do you like about Performance Max?
I mean, obviously the biggest barrier to Google Ads is getting started and doing it right. So this really takes that out of it because it's a kind of a, dummies process to Google Ads. And
so you must love it.
I was going to say you and I.
Kidding, Chris. I'm kidding. You're actually you're a freaking smart guy, Chris.
Okay,
and you're the total package.
Tell my wife that. I know you and her talk a lot. Let her know.
The other day you sent me a chat that said someone who contacted you for your services called you Jason.
Yes.
And
yes, they did.
I didn't send this back, but I had a joke teed up that you might be used to that.
Oh.
Here, that happens a lot in your home.
That was good. Yeah.
How'd you take that when someone went to your website, saw
my face,
and then wrote in and said, Jason, I need your help?
I honestly didn't know what to think. I did not know what to think. It hurt a little, it hurt.
Yeah. So what do you like about Performance Max?
Oh, yeah. So Performance Max.
Easy to set up. Dummies.
The
Google Ads for Dummies.
I mean, what we're known so well for is making things approachable and simple on the Paid Search Podcast, right?
Yeah.
So, lazy man build, making things that are manageable in Google Ads. So what I like about it is that it's easy. It's a very easy entry level kind of way to get into Google Ads. So I like that. It's easy to set up and it works on all the channels. You're not really gonna just say, well, let me do this. You're not going to have to build a strategy, I think is what I'm saying. You're not going to have to build a strategy to come up with all these different ideas about, well, let's do this campaign for this, and then let's build this for this.
Or 6 campaigns to get on every channel.
Yeah. It's a one
That's
campaign.
One thing I like about it is that you can get on all the channels with one campaign setup.
Yep, absolutely. And that I like that. Now, for the people that are intimidated by Google Ads, not really comfortable with it, I mean, another good thing that I like, not in my professional service, but at least for the noobs out there, there's no management required. Right? I mean, you and I are in the business of Google Ads management, so we know that if you want to take things to the next tier, you call one of us. But for those that are, you know that it's very hard for people to at least get started. Expectations about what they're going to get, may not want to just jump in and spend thousands of dollars. This is an easy way to jump in and spend a few $100s and try the system out, see what you can get out of it. So there's no management required, easy setup. And, the setup involves what they call creative assets. I really hate marketing terminology because, people may be managing their Google Ads, but they don't know all the marketing terminology. So they'll call them creative assets, but essentially it's just you throw in some images and some sales taglines and some information about your product and service, and you create those as headlines and ad copy inside of the system. That's all it is. It's just a fancy marketing term for, what are you selling? That's all.
The stuff on your website. That's what we're called from the Paid Search Podcast. The stuff. And I wasn't going to use that word, but the stuff on your website. And one thing I'm thinking, Chris, is, again, like, you can have shortcuts, you can have automated campaigns, but at the end of the day, you have to be able to present your business in language that attracts customers, and you have to have images that shows your business. And one thing I always hammer on: real pictures of real people, real offices and trucks and all that. And if you don't have that on your website, and then you try to go into a Performance Max campaign and you've never had images done for your business, or you've never had a logo made, or you don't have a few different ways that you communicate about your service, well, you're going to need them at this point to advertise. So some people get ahead of themselves and don't focus on their website, don't focus on their website stuff or creative assets, whatever you want to call it, and they jump right into advertising. And then it's like, well, you're not advertising something good. So it is automated, but still you need to bring something to the table.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, and let's get to the real value and what everybody's so excited about. I mean, what do you get out of it? So that's the setup. What do you get out of it? And from what I have seen, we'll talk about the bad side in a minute, but the good side is, from what I've seen, the cost per click and the cost per conversion, or the conversion rate, or number of conversions, or conversion value over cost, whatever metric you are looking at, typically it performs better. And I am referring to experience both on lead generation and e-commerce. I've looked at both, and those two things pretty much share the gambit of a goal-based campaign. Either you're selling something online, or you're selling a service, a product or a service.
So if you're saying the cost per click is lower, and you're saying therefore the cost per conversion is lower if it has somewhat of a relatively similar conversion rate, and it is based on real conversions that you choose, you are claiming, if I'm understanding you right, that Performance Max performs better than manually run or less automated run search campaigns. I don't think you would say that, but you're saying that. So please clarify.
I know. I am, and this is a tease for the listeners to stick around.
Well, I'm teased and I'm angry and I want to find out the answer. So successful tease. You don't need to tease anymore. What's going on here, Chris? Because you're throwing me for a loop. Because
I know
my general guess about how it would perform, based on some videos I've seen on YouTube of people making these campaigns and talking about performance, and then just knowing what I know about other automated campaigns that have come out versus what you and I are able to do when we're in control of a campaign. I'm surprised that you're saying that the cost per conversion is lower in general on Performance Max than. Now, maybe you're not getting as many conversions, and that's why an old school search campaign would be better. I don't know, but successful tease. Now let's finish the job here, Chris.
So I know you already hinted at it. You're not getting the same.
I know what I did. I know what I said. I want to hear what you have to say. Go.
So you're not getting the same volume, number one.
Really?
Okay? Not getting the same volume.
That's not just because I said it. You're seeing this.
No, you hit it right on the head. Absolutely.
So if I'm running a criminal defense campaign and we spend like $8,000 a month in a big metro, you're saying you might not be able to get that kind of volume from your performance.
Right.
Now, is it because search is on as well, and search is complementing, or this is complementing search?
Right. And in every instance that I've been doing this, it is just exactly what Google prescribes. It is a complement to an already running keyword-based campaign.
So you've done it, you've been running it alongside your search campaign.
Right.
Interesting.
So a shopping campaign or a search campaign, or maybe even an old smart campaign, something like that. So, it's a complement to other things that, are more established or you have more control over.
Okay.
So in that case, it does not get the same volume. The real magic is typically more so in the cost per click. I think for this example, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull up
Well, hold
a
on.
client.
Are you hedging here? Like the cost per click? You and I both know that the cost per click is a cost per click. It's not necessarily at all the amount of business we're getting.
Right.
So is it more? Did you overstep on the conversions? Do you think, or
Well, no, I mean, the conversion, the cost per conversion. I'm looking at the lead generation one right now. Lead
yeah?
generation for the account that I'm looking at is running at. Actually, one second.
You got like a monthly spend?
Yeah. Give me one second. I'll pull this up because I want to get accurate numbers for the podcast so we can give real world examples. So this account is, hey, you asked me for real numbers, Jason.
I asked you for real numbers.
Okay. 25,000 is what it's spending on the main campaign.
A day?
Okay. Nice. That was good. That was good. Immediately, I'm like flexing a little. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, a day. No, not a day, Jason.
Okay. All right, just asking. I didn't know.
Okay. Yeah.
When I hear 25K, I might be inclined to think, well, that's the daily budget.
a
Might
daily
not
budget.
spend all of that per day, but it's good
Right.
to have a big budget
20
on there.
23, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 25,000 a month.
It's not like we
is
run
what-
30 days a month, just 20 days a month.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's 25,000 a month,
Okay.
and the Performance Max has run at about 1,000 a month.
So you have a budget on the on the main search campaign of 25,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And then is your Performance Max like set to a much smaller daily budget?
It is. Yes.
So what are your dailies?
So my daily budget is 100, and my
the search
main for the Performance Max, and then my
Okay.
main search campaign is about $1,100, $1,200.
Okay. So you're giving it more budget.
Yeah, I've given more budget because I don't necessarily trust it for reasons we'll get into in just a moment. But
Because the automated, like if you run it up to say if you put $1,000 a day budget on there and then you go 4 days, $4,000, and it's spending it because it might, and for whatever reason you don't show a bunch of conversions over that time period, then you're kind of like, well, do I just need to give it more time at $1,000 a day and it'll self-correct, or is it just not performing as good as I thought it would?
Yep.
With higher volume. Yeah. So what do you?
So it's getting about 10% of the conversions. But that doesn't really matter. The main thing is the cost per conversion is about half. So it's getting about a $20 cost per conversion, and the original campaign has about a $40 cost per conversion.
Interesting. Okay, cool. And so it's the same conversions? You want to pop open that conversion action?
So now we're jumping over. So I shared the good news. Now we're going to get into the
Okay, so we finished up with better cost per conversion because of lower CPC. So you're just seeing lower CPCs across the board. That makes sense because if you're on Gmail, if you're on display, if you're on YouTube, you're going to have a lot lower cost per clicks probably than search, than purely just search.
For some real world perspective, the other campaign is hitting about a $17, $18 cost per conversion. Or sorry, $17, $18 cost per click. Sorry. And the Performance Max is at a $4 cost per click. So what's that tell you, Jason? You said it already. It's showing on other networks, and it's supplementing that really high CPC with a really low CPC from YouTube and
it's showing on search.
It is supposedly.
I don't want to dig too deep, but I have not heard the word search partners come up in this documentation or in our discussion, and I've seen some weird search partners data, so we're just going to table that for another show. But I could see that mixing up the cost per click as well.
So here's what bugs me.
Hold on. I am thoroughly teased. I am thoroughly teased right now.
I thought we were done with the teasing.
I can't take it anymore. I cannot take it. You need to stop right now. I cannot take it. I cannot take it. Stop.
Okay, I'm done.
Stop talking. Stop moving your mouth. Just stop. Right now, stop it. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to take a little dance break. Don't, Chris. Stop, please. That's the last time I can ask you. Stop talking. Stop. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about other things you're seeing with Performance Max, maybe some things that you don't like compared to campaigns you're in full control of, and then we'll talk about some situations when it would be good to use it. Let's take a music break and dance break right now, and we'll be back after this break.
Welcome back. I want to remind you about our sponsor, optio.com/PSP. They are the tool to help you get done in Google Ads to like immediately, just right away. They can help you get the things that you need to finish done right away. It's the management tool that you've been missing. So let me tell you one example. You have that one client, you have that one account, you have that one campaign that stresses you out because there's a lot of ad groups, there's a lot of keywords, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of moving parts, and it feels like it's always just overwhelming when you jump in. What I like about Optio is that it gives you item number one. You click on it, and it gives you a to-do item. And it says, look at this. Should you pause this ad? And it tells you, pause ad or don't pause ad. And it gives you the metrics that you need to make that decision. This is a wonderful way to just make a decision and get something done in Google Ads because you're not going to be paralyzed with stress and worry. It's going to show you, make a decision, boom, move on to the next one. Boom, move on to the next one. Guys, you got to try it. Optio.com/PSP. It's the tool for the place to be. How about that? That's it.
I like that, Chris.
Optio,
like
put that on your site.
Yeah.
Put my face on it.
Creative assets.
Whatever that means.
So, Chris, I've been able to gain my composure and calm down.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to hear about things that you don't like about Performance Max compared to just old school search campaigns. So we were talking the main benefit, lower cost per conversion because of lower cost per click, that you're seeing that across the board. And so that's a pro. Another pro is just being able to show up everywhere, very easy to set up. But if you're comparing it to what you're able to do on a search campaign, what are some things you don't like?
So here it is. I have heard rumors and seen blogs about search terms, Jason, that are supposedly in the Performance Max campaigns.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out there and say they don't exist. Search terms in the way that you and I care about search terms do not exist. The same way they don't exist with a smart campaign. If anyone disagrees and can prove it and say, no, you missed this button here, email us. Go to our website, contact us, show us. We do Q&A all the time. I'll admit that I was wrong, but Jason, it's not there. There's been a lot of people alluding to it. It's not there. It's not there in any kind of beneficial way, and that bugs me. You listen to this podcast, you know that when it comes down to it, search terms are the way to verify that you're getting what you want. You know, like you ordered a cake, and who closes their eyes and just eats the cake without looking? You know, like you don't eat without looking.
No, never.
No, that's not you. No.
Never.
And you want to know what you're getting. You know,
what people actually typed in Google
Yeah.
on their phone or computer when they searched for your ad and saw it and clicked it.
Yeah. You want to know what that person did to come to
So
your site.
that's the number one thing you don't like about Performance Max. That's the number one thing we like about search campaigns. That's where we kind of start our research, is the search terms report. It guides all our work. And you're saying, despite what we've seen about topics and stuff like this, you don't get that same granular level of 60% of the searches you showed up on if you're lucky.
60, yeah.
I've seen some broad keyword campaigns in the real estate space lately where it's 10%, but that's neither here. It's there. It's not here nor there. It's there,
here.
But it's not here. So
it's over there. But no,
but generally we're still getting around 60%, and you don't get that.
Let me go further. Let me get, as you said, I like that word, granular. Let's get granular. Jason, if I do a segmentation of devices in the campaign view of a smart campaign,
of a smart campaign, okay,
and a Performance Max campaign. The Performance Max campaign,
a search campaign in Performance Max, or smart in Performance Max?
Smart.
Okay.
So the old school and the new school, right?
Okay.
So smart campaign to Performance Max. That's what I'm comparing here.
Okay.
Smart Campaign to Performance Max, if I do a segmentation of devices, it does not show me information about that. It does not show me what
I'm inclined to
devices.
think you're missing something.
Okay.
Because that's crazy, but I believe you because I believe you.
Okay, but, Jason, I appreciate. I just want to say I appreciate how much faith you have in me, but I was absolutely wrong on that. I misspoke. Okay. I was wrong. I'm gonna take that back.
A little scary the level of clarity and certainty you shared.
Yeah,
and how much you can believe your own stuff.
When I talk about things I don't know what I'm talking about, I'm extremely confident.
Yeah.
So let me tell you what I absolutely should have said. What I meant to say was the network type or the click type. Okay, so if I segment by network type from a Smart Campaign and a Performance Max, the Smart Campaign says Google search partners, display network.
Oh, the old school Smart actually says that?
It says that.
And of course, the regular display and search campaigns say that as well.
Right. Yeah. The other stuff all shows this very detailed. But the new stuff, it says cross network.
100% of the traffic?
100% of the traffic, cross network.
Wow. Interesting.
Mystery.
So we don't know what percent of your smart is coming from Gmail. We don't know what percent is coming from YouTube. We don't know of the search traffic, what percent of that is coming from partners, search partners. That's a bummer because it would be nice to just, one, know where you're showing up. And then two, it would be nice to go, oh, I've felt comfortable enough spending 10%, 30%, whatever of my budget on a Performance Max campaign. I want to see where my ads are working. Oh, they're working on Gmail. Awesome. I'm going to go triple my budget on Gmail because I have the confidence that I'm getting good traffic there. You'd be able to make those decisions if they gave you that data, but it sounds like they're not.
And it gets worse. Jason, you can also segment by click type. So when you segment by click type, and I'm just looking at Smart Campaigns, I'm not even talking about search because search gives you all this stuff. So, all the way down to Smart Campaign, which, we don't expect a whole lot, but we at least get headline, site link, promotion extension. Like we get different types of clicks and click types, call extension, things like that. On the Performance Max, we get cross-network links, our cross-network clicks. That's what we get.
And just refresh my memory because I just haven't opened click type in a long time on a search campaign. If you have something pulled up, what are some of the options that you can see on click type, like site link?
It's gonna be wherever they clicked on the ad. It's gonna be like headline, mobile click to call, site link,
okay, gotcha.
Things like that.
So
it's gonna tell you where your traffic went to. Yeah, I mean, it's really important. So, I mean, it bugs me. And this is the whole point of, what bothers me the most about these kind of campaigns. Even though we talked about how much you can get out of it, you don't get this kind of metric. And I'm not even done yet, Jason, because it actually gets worse. That was segmentation, which most people.
This tease is a big letdown.
It gets worse. Okay, there is no position metrics. There is no search impression share metrics. That probably is the number one thing that bugs me the most. If I look at a Smart Campaign or I look at a search campaign, I can see how many showed above organic. I can see how many showed in first position. I can see just what my search impression share
is. And then you can do things about it.
Yeah, I could raise my budget because I see that my search impression share is 10% and 80% is lost due to budget. And I love the way the campaign's running, so I just throw more budget at it.
No way to control. So lack of metrics, no position, impression share metrics. The only reason you need those metrics is our next topic here, to do things to control the intensity of your campaign. Do I want to be more aggressive and get more conversions and maybe pay a little bit more for them? Or do I want to pull back and pay less for my conversions, even though I might get less conversions? That's the whole point of what we do. And I have situations where clients tell me like, great, you got me a $30 cost per lead, but I'm telling you, I want $100 cost per leads, and that's what I'm willing to pay. I still make a ton of money at $100 a lead, and I want like 10 times the amount of leads you got me this month. So then we can do things. We can go, we're only showing up number one 20% of the time. We're only showing up at the top 40% of the time. We can increase our bids. We can increase our budget. We can, there's just more you can do. So it sounds like you can't do that with Performance Max. You can't say, hey, I love my traffic, I want more of it, or hey, my cost per lead's coming in too hot, I want to pull it back. You can't do that.
Yeah. I mean, and that the best analogy I can make, Jason, is, a search campaign, maybe even to some degree, what we thought was a smart campaign. It even did a little bit of this. You had your own vehicle, right? You had a steering wheel, you had a gas pedal,
okay.
You had the ability to look out the windows and see where you were.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's big.
And now the Performance Max feels like you're jumping on a train, and the train even has blacked out windows. So,
yeah.
You don't know where you're going. You just know that you're going somewhere. You can feel that it's moving. But I like I said at the beginning, I am glad that there's an option for some people to be able to do this. But in the end, for those of you that are trying to move to the next level for a lot of things, it's probably not appropriate. And I think that Google set it up front. And I applaud them for saying it and being honest. It's a good companion. Compliment.
It's also good if you don't know what you don't know. Like if you don't know about absolute top percentage and impression share and bids and all that kind of stuff, then you can just focus on your cost per lead and compare that, or cost per conversion, and compare that to other advertising opportunities you have. So if you don't know what you don't know and you're just getting started, it's a good fit. Do you think it's a good fit for very experienced search campaign managers that do want to just show up everywhere with 10 or 20% of the budget? Or do you think they should just do that manually with other campaigns, like a YouTube campaign, a display campaign, a getting on Gmail, all that kind of stuff?
That's a really good question. For me, I mean, just stepping outside of the podcast here, thinking about what I would do with my clients. I mean, it's other than just being curious about it and wanting to try it, there's no way I would return to it if a client said, hey, can we ramp things up? Like I'm probably not going to go to that. I would use the other million ways that I can gather traffic in a controlled way.
Outside of general search that you can do.
Right, right. Let's say we maximized our search. I probably would not go to Performance Max, unless I just, other than curiosity to see how it works for this client, how it works for this industry, it's not a place I'm going to go.
I think the best thing that Google could do for experienced managers is to give us more data insights. You don't have to make it more complex for people that are just using something very automated and they just want to get up and running. It can be the same system, but for experienced people, you can give us a ton more data. And then I think where it could come in as like a tool in our toolbox is like, all right, we start a search campaign. Like that's what we focus on. That's where we know the bulk of the leads are going to come from. But as soon as we start that search campaign, we're going to throw on 10, 20% of the budget into Performance Max to be everywhere from day one to get ramped up there. First 3 to 6 months, we can focus on the search campaign, dial it in, and then we can have that Performance Max running, gathering data, being everywhere for the client for 3 to 6 months. And then when we feel like we've done everything we can do on search and it's kind of at that level where you're just maintaining it and you've got it to a perfect level, you can then branch out to all these other networks inside the Google universe, and you'll have a bunch of data to go on if they would give us that data inside Performance Max. So I think that's how it could be a perfect fit for experienced, busy Google Ads managers that might not be motivated enough and their clients might not be motivated enough to take all the time it takes to run a display campaign and test it and all that, or a Gmail campaign and test it, or YouTube with like 10% of the budget. But if we knew if we could just throw something on there automated like you can with Performance Max and then get data from it, so then we could grow on those platforms later on, that would be freaking awesome. And another thing is, I think they should give people the opportunity to turn off networks inside of Performance Max and go, I want this for all the other stuff, the Gmail, the display, the YouTube, but I like what I'm doing on search. And so let me just click a button and uncheck search from Performance Max. And then as you branch off from Performance Max, like, okay, I've gathered data in there about display. Now I'm going to go replicate that in the display campaign I control. I'll flip off display. And you can use it as like a just way to get data very quickly and then branch out from it. That to me would be the freaking promised land. I think that would be very cool.
That would, I agree with you, but I don't think that'll ever happen because that's not what they want Performance Max to be. They want Performance Max to be a click it and just kind of let it run kind of deal.
I know, but they are a business that likes making money, and I would be inclined to spend a lot more than I do on Gmail and YouTube and stuff if it was easy to set up like this is. But if I could just get data from it,
without having to go in and manually build a Gmail
and then monitor and then distract yourself from the search campaign. Because a lot of times, sometimes I'm dealing with $25,000 a day budgets.
A day.
Other times I'm dealing with $50,000 a day budgets. But then other times I'm dealing with $3,000 for the month capped, and we know we can get the best performance from search. And it's like, do we really want to take $300 and run YouTube and take the time to figure that out when we could just spend that last $300 on search and get the results we get on search? Let us put it in Performance Max, get some data. That wouldn't change it for the people that are just running it to run it as pure automated forever.
Yeah.
Well, just an idea.
Jason, for those that have $25,000 daily budgets, tell them how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, I can see it in your description there, chrisschaefer.com. That's a little small for me these days, so you can go to Chris. I'm sure it's a big deal. Sure, he'll be jumping through hoops for you, and he'll be a good little boy, working hard for you. If you have...
That's not your plug.
Go ahead. I'm good.
Oh, no.
No, go ahead. I'm good.
No.
I'm good. Trust me. The things I've been doing this week, the stuff I've been running, I'm good, brother.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, you go ahead with your plug.
Oh, wow. Well, Rothman PPC to reach out to Jason because I'm good. Super busy, guys. Just can't. Don't call me.
Great plugs today. All right. Thanks, everybody. And we will see you next week with the next episode of the Paid Search Podcast. Thanks.